When I first started running, I tracked almost everything. Heart rate, cadence, sleep, nutrition. And you know what I never tracked? My breathing. And I know I'm not the only one. Most beginners runners never think about breathing because nobody ever tells them to. But what's interesting is that even people who do search for running advices, they often end up more confused than before. Because almost every video jumps straight into techniques. Before anyone learns how to breathe, I think a better question would be, what kind of run am I actually doing? Because breathing isn't one technique, it's a toolbox, just like every other tool. It only works if you know when to use it. I had a collapsed lung when I turned 30. When I started running at 33, breathing wasn't just another running topic. It was the thing I was most afraid of. So I spent a lot of time trying to understand it. And eventually I realized I didn't need another breathing technique. I just needed the framework and not panic when I feel like I'm gasping. When beginners struggle to breathe during a run, they noticed it but usually blame everything except breathing. They would think, I'm not fit enough. My heart rate is too high. My running form must be bad. Maybe those are true, but rarely they think breathing was a part of what they need to fix. The thing is, breathing changes depending on what you've asking your body to do. And this is the first mindset shift I want to give you. Don't ignore the importance of how you breathe, and don't blindly follow random breathing techniques without understanding when to use them. Before we even talk about breathing, we have to talk about the run, because not every run is supposed to feel the same. Easy runs, interval or tempo runs, long runs, your breathing should sound different in each of these types of run. If you're doing an easy run, your breathing should almost disappear into the background. Smooth, relaxed, almost forgettable. You shouldn't feel like you're fighting for air. You should be able to hold a conversation. You should feel like breathing is simply happening. Now compared to the interval session, you are running harder. Your breathing could get loud. You can be gasping. And that's expected since you're asking your body to produce more energy. Trying to breathe like you're on an easy run during a hard session would actually make the workout worse. The point I'm trying to make is that the goal isn't to eliminate heavy breathing entirely. The goal is to manage breathing. That's why I don't think all breathing techniques are universal. They are tools, and different runs require different tools. Trying to use nose breathing for every situation makes about as much sense as bringing only a screwdriver to build an entire house. It's just not enough. Sometimes you needed a hammer, sometimes you need a different tool. So here's the framework I now use every run. Diagnose how you feel at the moment and the type of run, and then match these two with the right technique. Starting on the first step, diagnosing the type of run and how you feel at the moment. On this step, you need to ask one question. Does my breathing actually need attention right now? I use a simple check. Every often during a run, I ask myself, can I hold my breath for about 2 seconds? If I can, my breathing is probably fine. And if I can't, then something deserves my attention. Once I detect that I need attention, I move on to the next step. What type of run am I doing and where am I into the run? Is it happening during an easy run or during an interval or on hills? Is it only during the first kilometer or is it close to when I finish a run? The combination of these two could reflect different problems, and they need different approach and solutions. This is the step almost every runner skips, and I think it deserves much more attention. Let's go through a few scenarios. Let's start off with an easy running. If you're doing an easy run but you feel tense and breathing seems hard, the problem usually isn't that you're lacking oxygen. It's likely you have other tension in your body. Your shoulders and chest might be tight. Your legs are still tired or not warmed up yet. This isn't where I would start forcing breathing techniques. This is where I focus on relaxing the body. Sometimes relaxing your body and paying attention to your running form immediately changes how your breathing feels. In this scenario, you don't need another breathing technique to fix that. Now let's look at harder efforts, threshold runs, intervals, or even during a race. For these type of runs, you're expected to work hard. You're supposed to breathe in hard. In these scenarios, the question is less about, can I breathe gently and quietly? A better question is, can I keep and sustain this breathing rhythm? Here, you're looking for techniques that's more related to rhythm. That's the key word. If you only remember one thing for hard sections, it's rhythm. I use this analogy in other videos. Breathing is like music. A beautiful piece of music is constructed by a masterful musician who doesn't only understand how to land on every beat, they also know how to make it sound natural and effortless. And that's the goal here, how to conduct breathing rhythm effortlessly. Personally, I love testing different techniques to keep my rhythm in order to minimize the effort to sustain this run. I already found that the 3-to-2 ratio technique works quite well for me. Breathe in every 3 steps and exhale on the next 2 steps. I slowly then have to adjust over time to 4 steps to 2 steps ratio. Now there's another important point I want to emphasize here. Everyone would take each technique differently. And once you find a technique that works, you still need to be open to adjusting it. That's what mastery looks like. Let's quickly talk about hills. Hills are a little bit different. Your effort rises instantly as you gain elevation. Breathing changes instantly. So try to force the same breathing rhythm you use across runs might not work for you. For me, I let the breathing adapt to the effort. I never start a hill section with 0 warm-up prior to that. I make sure I warm up my lungs and get the rhythm going right before I start the session. And let myself go into the hills naturally. The more I do these hill sessions, the less I feel the difference in running pattern. Because my legs, my lungs are already more used to hills and are using less effort overall. So the key things here for hill sessions is warm up prior to it. This will help you lower the spike in effort and keep you as calm as you can. Okay, so I've gone through 2 main scenarios, easy and hard sessions. If you're a beginner, I would just stick with these 2 scenarios and find different techniques for them. My goal here isn't to overcomplicate things, while you're also not oversimplifying things and just use one technique for everything. If there's one thing I hope you to remember from this video, it's this. Don't spend your energy trying to memorize all the breathing techniques. Spend your energy understanding your natural breathing rhythm. Breathing isn't something you master by finding the perfect technique. You master it by knowing what your body is asking for first. Easy run asks for relaxation. Threshold sessions ask for rhythm. Hill repeat sessions ask for preparation. Different runs come with different problems. A master of running knows when to use which tool and how to do so effortlessly. And once you start thinking this way, the techniques stop feeling confusing. They will start making sense. You're no longer asking, what's the best breathing technique? You'll start asking, what does this run actually need from me based on my current body condition? And I think that's the question most breathing videos never teach people to ask. After my lung collapsed, breathing became something I paid extra attention to. Not because I want to, because I was scared. Every hard breath reminded me of the hospital. The pain I got when I collapsed my lung and not knowing if I will ever live another day. And since I've started running, I care less about how fast I run. I care more about how I breathe and whether my breath feels natural when I put strain on it. And ironically, that fear became one of my biggest strengths as a runner because it forced me to pay attention to it. I started noticing these patterns I just shared with you. Easy run felt different than intervals, hills felt different than flat roads. Some days breathing felt effortless, some other days doesn't. Eventually I stopped seeing breathing as something I have to fix continuously. I started seeing it as information. I go to parkrun almost every week. Nowadays, for almost every one that I go to, when I look around after finishing, everyone is breathing much harder than I was. And I remember thinking, I'm the guy with the collapsed lung. Why am I calmer than everyone else? What I realized is that my lungs weren't any better than them. I just spent way more attention listening to these signals I got from my body and adjusting to it way more and faster than most runners. Based on my experience, being a runner has way less to do with techniques. This doesn't only apply to breathing, any techniques that you learned. Running has way more to do with how much you understand your body and how you're adjusting and adapting. If you just focus on that, you will not only make running feel more effortless, you start to run faster and you're breaking personal records without you even forcing it. This is my way of thinking about running. How to run more effortlessly. So let's summarize what I covered here. The key takeaway is do not just only learning breathing techniques. Understand why they exist and how they apply it to your runs. Every breathing technique is trying to solve a specific problem in a specific scenario. If you don't know your body enough and what problem you're solving, the technique becomes irrelevant. Start with the run itself and how you feel today. Then ask yourself, what kind of effort am I doing today? Then ask during the run, does my breathing actually need attention? If so, where is it falling apart? Only then choose the tool, the breathing technique that you need. Breathing is all about understanding your body well enough to know what it needs at the current moment. And before we end this video, I want to share one more habit related to breathing that has helped me. Intentionally breathe hard for 2 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds, and exhale for 2 seconds. Do this 5 to 10 times before you start running. This is an exercise I learned that helped me warm up my lungs going into the run. Try that on your next run. If you've struggled with breathing during a run, I would genuinely love to hear about it. Was it easy runs? Were you running a race? Or was it simply the first 5 minutes every single time? Leave a comment below. I'll read every one of them, and they help me understand what beginner runners actually experiencing. My name is Felix, just figuring things out one run at a time. I will see you on the next one.